Hi, Sylvia. Hi, Mario. How are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Wonderful. So, what do we have today?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for our featured question today, they ask, what is the minimum number of EB1A criteria that must be met for my petition to be approved? And what is the legal and evidentiary basis for that threshold?
Well, it's a very loaded question, actually. What is the minimum number of criteria? I mean, statutorily, we know that it is three. Let's understand that. And but I know the question is not stemming from a legal perspective. The question is coming from the perspective that what one must do to achieve that. I would like to take a step back and give a more incisive response to it. If you can, while the statutory requirement remains three criteria, and if you can essentially establish that you have, kind of, you see, basically you get EB1A not for fulfilling the criteria. You get EB1A only for three things. Number one, that are you an expert? How will USCIS benefit out of that expertise? And number three is that you will continue in the field of endeavor. I mean, that's the prima facie, the three things why one should get an EB1A. And if somebody is able to prove these three things by virtue of only three criteria, that is good enough. Let's be clear about it. So we have seen, after having studied over 1,000 petitions, after having met at least 100 EB1 achievers, and at least we know that 50 of them would be approximately from our own program also. I think it's a matter of how deep and incisive you can go to prove it. Like, I always say that, applying for EB1A is not like I'm fulfilling 3, 4, 5 criteria. We have even seen that fulfilling even 8 criteria is not sufficient. So applying for EB1A is like saying that, look, I'm Syria, I'm Mario, this is my expertise, this is how I will benefit the US actually. Now, to talking to President Trump, let's say that. And now, if you can say that by fulfilling three criteria, that is good enough. But and sometimes even 8 criteria are not sufficient. But having said this, I mean, from a legal standpoint, I have seen that even at least minimum 4 criteria or 5 criteria should be good enough. Because normally our intensity and depth of our roles and the evidence standards are not too high. For example, if you're looking, let us say you're going for critical role. I mean, sometimes it's not possible to get letter of recommendations on letterheads at times. And sometimes it is possible. Sometimes it is not possible to establish a national interest through only three criteria, but then you do multiple criteria. Now the challenge becomes that if you want to go for only three criteria or four criteria, then how do you, kind of establish your credibility to an extent that you get your EB1A approved? Now, let's say, for example, you are going for a critical role. I mean, you should have a straightforward response that your company gives you a letter on your letterhead. You are able to connect that your role and the job that you are doing is connect to national interest. If you cannot directly do that, then you kind of connect it to the vision of your company, and that vision of a company is how it is playing a role in the national interest. That is important. But if you can create a persuasive argument based, and that is backed up by an evidence, that's a good enough. Now, when you get a salary, I mean, sometimes the salaries are pretty straightforward, reflected in W2, but sometimes they are not. Sometimes, you are a startup founder, you may get grants. Sometimes your salary is on the fringe of, on the side of sidelines of, let us say, people sometimes wonder it's 90th percentile or 80th percentile my salary. So nobody is written it's 90th percentile. But let's say that you are crossing 90th percentile. Then the arguments are much more easier to present actually then. Oh, you have patents, then it is much more easier to do it. It is a function of you being an expert in your field. How much do you understand the genesis and the concept of EB1A? And the third is how do you present yourself? So ideally, I would always suggest people to go for 4 or 5 criteria, but go in as much depth as possible. I hope this makes sense. So it's not even there are case laws that say that it is not the quantity, but quantity and quality both are important. And any evidence that you give should have 3 parameters. It's credible. It has to be authentic. It has to be credible. Then it has to be relevant. I mean, relevant to what? Relevant to your expertise, relevant to the purpose of EB1A. I mean, I remember some lady wanting to give her dance winning competition photographs and evidences for that, which has nothing to do with the expertise. It will not make any sense. And third is it should be probative. So if you are able to do this, then it will make sense. I hope that helps actually.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you.
Yeah,
So
wonderful. Next question now. Yeah.
Mhm. It's at what point do you recommend bringing in legal counseling versus handling things in the house at the next league program?
At the Next League program, we are also, we have a legal license to serve as a law firm also for you. So what we do is that everything is integrated. It's not a linear process. Let's understand that. Preparing for EB1A Act through Next League program is not a linear process that says that, oh, you need to do this, then you do this, then you bring in a lawyer. No, it's not like this. So, for example, if somebody joins and is wanting to change his job, for example, then we always suggest that, you kind of, uh, you know, if you're changing a job, then get a recommendation letter. And that recommendation letter, the structure of that recommendation letter is backed up based on we have our hundreds of cases that we have studied and what USCIS is looking for. Now, gathering evidence. So the entire process of Next League program is kind of make you think and empower you. It's not a linear process. Let's understand. I want to give a caution because there is a purpose. While Next League remains as a transformation coaching program that puts you in a best, success story and where EB1A becomes a milestone for you, at the same time, the underlying asset continues to remain as an empowerment. So you are empowered from day one to think in a particular way that should help you for multiple other things. For example, so there are essentially three stages in an entire EB1A journey. One is a profile building stage, second is an evidence gathering stage, and third is a petition stage where you kind of work with an attorney. So, I would like to answer this question in a very direct way, but first I'm giving a background. So first, even when you are at an evidence building stage, so let's say you do a hackathon, so keep all evidences with you. That you went, your photographs, your peers, who were there, how you were selected. So we always tell people to do it in the first stage. Don't wait for evidences, because otherwise there is no limit. And when you hire a lawyer, you are completely confused then actually, that because everybody will ask for it and you start digging out actually. So having said this, when you fairly feel that you have reached a position wherein you have your evidences ready for at least 3 to 4 criteria, I think that was the time where we kind of always get you assessed by a paralegal in the program, and we always get you assessed even by an attorney if required actually, if you want to work with us. So we work with attorneys who are outside the program, it could be your company attorney. If you want us to help us to identify the best attorney who could be representing your case, we can help you for that also. And if you want Next League to kind of file your petition, we are in a position to do that also for you. So we can do all these things that could be kind of helping you. So I think typically a good individual with at least let us say 10 years of experience, I would say would take 3 to 4 months to identify an attorney. Somebody who is a bit younger may take a longer time. But yes, we would be hand-holding and guiding you at every stage of the way. And also, it also depends on what intensity you bring in for yourself in the program. So that would be my response.
Absolutely. So our next question is more of a profile evaluation, but they ask, I have an approved EB1B from January 2024, and I'm considering applying for EB1A. With 18 plus publications, approximately 150 citations, 3 software packages, 6 recommendation letters from experts, 10 plus reviews, service on 5 MS thesis committees, temporary faculty appointment at an R1 university, mentorship of several students in AI and data science, proposal writing, and organization of 2 national conferences. What are my chances?
That's a wonderful profile, I would say that. But frankly, I would not like to qualify myself to respond to this for one simple reason, that I don't even know your expertise and how a national interest can be established by virtue of that expertise. Because having approval, but why would you want to do that? That's the question that I would like to ask you, because your priority date is not going to change. You may shift your priority date from EB1B, except for the fact that you may have a freedom to choose the employer. It won't be employer centric, let's put it that way. Otherwise, still assuming that, let us say it is AI, since it is mentioned that it is regarding AI and data science, I would like to assume that it is related to AI and data science related field. uh, I think it would matter in terms of your persuasiveness, because your EB1A approval is like people have EB1C approvals, people may have EB2 approvals. That may not help for EB1A, but yes, you have already have a good profile. Uh, 10 plus reviews. I would still kind of go into an argument actually to understand a little deeper that how did your EB1B approval went. If I had an access to the petition, let's say that, so I would like to then kind of extrapolate it for EB1A. That would be much more easier. But another point, you got approved in 2024. What did you do between 2024 and today would also matter actually when it comes to EB1A. There has to be something kind of a consistency and sustained acclaim, which is very important. But otherwise, it would be very, kind of dry and dull if you have not done anything. I would always suggest you to do something. I would say that. We have one gentleman called Manish actually who is kind of wanting to join us. So I will get him in, and then we will continue with the rest of the questions based on the availability of time. So let's say I will put up Manish inside here. Hi Manish, how are you? Hello Manish, can you hear us?
Yeah, hi, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. So let's go with your question. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, I was just trying to listen into the your whatever you are discussing here in the call.
Okay. If you don't have any questions right now,
No, I don't have any questions as well.
no problem. So I'm just removing you from the stage. In future, if you have any questions, you can always let us know, and we'll be happy to kind of have you also here, or you can send us your questions. Okay. Wish you all the best and your EB1A journey. Thank you. Okay, so let's take the next question after this now.
Definitely. So our next question is, what metrics or KPIs do you track for alumni to ensure they continue to excel and reflect positively from the Next League program?
But that's a brilliant question. Actually, it's the first time I'm, I think, getting this kind of a question. You see, I think the true success and true manifestation of success of the Next League program is not going to be today in terms of how many EB1 achievers we have today, because we have already, kind of 45 plus, and we have had, 97.5% success rate, and already audited by a third party by Supreme Court. Supreme Court has honored us. So we have all the metrics here, but I think the true success is going to be what people do, continue to do. So I think over a period of time, I'm very confident based on the empowerment that we do for people in terms of their knowledge based, their information what we give, data what we give, so no matter what field they are. I think the true success is going to get derived based on, say, 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line, how the next league EB1A achievers kind of propel themselves in the field. I think it's a very deep question, and I may not have taken up even in the program or in a session like this. There are different, we call it something called as the 5 dimensions of success. When you are just barely meeting EB1A, you are at the first order. You're just fulfilling the statutory requirements and you're doing it. The second order, what we call is the national interest. That how you kind of achieve the national interest. Some people in the program, when they got their EB1A, already kind of, I think majority of them, in fact, I would say that out of 45, almost I think 40 plus would have met the second dimension of EB1A success. We call it like, this thing is, meeting the national interest, because we give a great importance to that. Then the third becomes, and then there are multiple others, but the third one is, a more of a transformation impact. What transformation impact by virtue of your field that you are doing to the people around you, to the community around you? I would say that almost 50% of the people would have met that level also, actually. And majority of them would fall under, not only the second order, but the third dimension also here, which is a transformation impact. Then it becomes a fourth, and fifth is something totally different. I would not, that would be beyond the scope of this discussion right now. But the fourth is more related to what impact you have created on the laws and things around you. So it's also one of the major kind of transitions that happen here. That is the fourth dimension. And then there is a fifth dimension in terms of what legacy have you leaving behind. The idea behind the program is to put you on a fifth dimension, actually, on the path of the fifth dimension. I'm sorry. And it takes possibly years to kind of reach to that level of excellence. And we try to help you for that also, actually. So the true testimony, and we also had one of the former USCIS officers auditing our petitions, looking at our work that we do, and the very fact that they have appreciated the way we do, because the next week we try to empower people in a way that helps them to put on a success path where EB1A is just a milestone, which is the first order itself actually here. So having said this, we always insist that you continue yourself in the field of endeavor in a best possible way. Don't stop your journey, because finally at the end of the day, you should be equal to your expertise. So for example, if Mario is an EB1A achiever from the program, so finally it should be that Mario's expertise should be equal to him actually. So let's say we had a person in the program who is a software, let's call him X actually. So somebody who is a software performance tester, or somebody who is an AI expert. So AI expertise in a healthcare industry, let us say, should be equal to Mario, and Mario should be. So somebody Googles you, the expertise should come forward, and somebody, even if they Google the expertise, your name should come forward. The day you reach to that level of excellence, actually you have reached a second or third order. And how many people have you produced, or you are grooming or creating a next generation, that also follows actually. So yes, while we do not keep a definite track on that where we want to intend, but yes, we are connected with all the alumni. They are part of the group, and we want to help other people and as many people as possible based on this actually. So we want to kind of have people to become the best version of themselves. So that's what I would like to say. So let's take the last question now.
Absolutely. So the last question, I guess we have pretty much a lot of people looking at EB1B, but this question is regarding EB1B. I work as a support engineer. I don't do academic research, but I do research on customer issues and provide them root cause analysis. Does my experience qualify me as an outstanding researcher?
I mean, again, you don't get, I mean, since I don't want to qualify myself on EB1B, but I'm assuming that, let's say, even if this were for EB1A, from that perspective, because only the number of criteria are different here and you need a sponsor. Having said it, what has been the impact of your research? How would you say that? If I were to kind of help you to build an argument to your lawyer, I would simply ask one question, that what has been the impact of your research? So if you're talking about, let's say, for example, support engineer, research on customer issues and provide them with root cause analysis. So how it has impacted the lives of your customer, how it has helped your company, how it has helped your community, how, I mean, I would just go, and how do you think it is going to help, how you are going to benefit the country by virtue of your presence here? I mean, these are some fundamental questions I like to ask, and then take it forward rather than going into a deep dive or something. So that's all, friends, I have to say today. And if you have any more questions, please let us know. We'll happy to kind of take those questions. If you are looking forward to kind of a truthful, honest way of becoming EB1A achiever and taking your career, your transformation, reach out to Mario, Syria, or I will be more than happy to help you. So wish you all the best, and congratulations, and on your EB1A journeys. And thank you, Manish, for joining us. So that would be wonderful. Thank you very much, friends. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any further questions or need personalized guidance, please reach out to us. We are here to help you every step of the way in your journey towards achieving your American dream. Let's connect and make it happen together.